All right, hey Shani, and I'm back with another episode of Shani's Lab. So today I wanted to come on here and do a movie review. Boom. So I watched this movie called The Perfection, and when I tell y'all that was a really, really good movie, it's a really, really good movie. So it's a Netflix movie. It premiered, at one of those film festivals, and then Netflix got the rights to acquire it so they could, stream it or whatever. So it stars, Logan Brown, and if you don't know who Logan Brown is, she was on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. She was in the Bratz movie. She also starred in the show Hit the Floor as Yelena. So Logan Brown she's a really really pretty biracial girl. And then you had the other main lead, which was you guys know the girl who played Chris's girlfriend in Get Out. So it was like so from that point, when I was looking at the starring roles, I was like, this is an interesting mix. You have the girl from Get Out, and then you also have Logan Browning. So from little girls, they were brought to this, this music school, that was ran by this creepy guy, and it was started by his family. And what they would do is they would, teach young girls, how to be, great cellists, So the one girl, the main girl, the first girl, I forget her name, but she her mother had died, when she was really young, so she had to leave her music school, but she was like the protege, she was like the best, she was their favorite, but she had to leave because her mother had got sick. So she left when her mother got sick. She had started to realize, what really happened to her and what that school really was about. So what they would do is they would teach you, and they had this special room where the acoustics were really good, and in order for you to be considered, really great, you had to be invited to perform in that room. But the catch was, if you made a mistake, you got, raped. But they weren't calling it rape, they were calling it the ultimate sacrifice or whatever. But when they were young girls, they were kids, so they weren't really understanding, what was going on. So the girl, she gets older, like 10 years passed, and she hadn't seen or heard from them, but her mother had finally passed away or whatever. So she had to go through like mental evaluation. She was in, like psychiatric hospitals. She was really fucked up in the head because, she realized she tried to return back to the school and they didn't want anything to do with her. She was, I guess she was too old, or, too much time had passed. Like basically, once they feel like they can't make any money off of you or they can't use you anymore, then you're just done. So then, they show in the beginning that, she had met the Logan Browning's character. They had met before, when they were girls. But of course, Mara told her she had to leave. So then, Logan Browning character, she became the new favorite celloist, the new greatest. So, they had went to travel or whatever. The white girl, she had showed up, and she was like, trying to get in contact with them, and they basically were kind of ignoring her or whatever. They basically was treating her like she didn't exist. So she showed up, and she ended up being one of the guest judges at they were in, I think, China or something like that. I believe it was China. And they went, I believe it was China. So they went to China because what they do is they go around the world and try to recruit other young girls, which makes it even more creepier, to become young, to study at their famous music school, to be a great celloist or whatever. So Logan Browning and her, they were the judges, but they like hit it off. So they got into like a little romantic thing. They had hung out, and they went dancing and they had sex or whatever. So what happened was the girl, what is her name? The girl who isn't Logan Browning's character, the first girl who was their star celloist, she, the one who I told you her mom died, she had drugged Logan Browning's character. She thought she was Logan Browning character thought she was taking ibuprofen, but really she was giving her hallucinating drugs. And then they were traveling back. And she started. They were on the bus, and she was like freaking out. She thought she was seeing stuff. She thought she was seeing like bugs, and her spit up. Like she was feeling real sick. And then eventually had got kicked off the bus. So they're standing outside and they're going wild and crazy. And she's trying to help her. It appears she's trying to help her. Right. And then she was like bugs and stuff was coming out of her arm. So she's like, you got to chop your arm off. So the Logan Browning character, she chops her arm off. And then when she chops her arm off, the movie pauses, and then it does like a flashback, and it goes back to when they met, and when they were going out and dancing and having fun, and when they woke up that morning, and it showed you that she purposely gave her hallucinogenic drugs, so that she can convince her to cut off her arm. Crazy, right? So then it jumps to, it jumps up a little bit, and now, she's back, in the States, and she goes back to the music school. And the guy, who runs it, he's like, what happened to your arm? Where have you been? We've been looking for you. What the fuck happened to your arm? So she told him everything that happened, and she's like, she was a jealous bitch. She was jealous because, what I had, she didn't have the fame, the money, being a famous celloist. She didn't have that anymore, and she was jealous. She wanted my life, is what she thought. So then, the school, they told her that she had to leave. There was no more use for her. She couldn't play the cello because she only had the one arm. And she's like begging. She's like, I'll do anything. I could teach. I can. And it was really sad. Because it was like, even though she can't play the cello, she was still your greatest. She can still, teach. She could be of some use, but they weren't here for it. So then, it shows you, she goes, so because they kick her out, then she goes and find the girl, and she beats her up, and, you think she killed her. And then if jumps up again, and then she's, they're back at the school, and she's like, I got the bitch. She's in my car. I got her. So, they bring her in, and then, they tie her up, and then, they're all sitting there, and they're going to have her play the cello. And of course, if she messes up, she has to, pay the ultimate price. But then, when they were in China, they had found a new celloist to, bring under their wing. It was this little Chinese girl. And they had her sitting in there, and oh my God, I thought that they was going to rape the little girl. I was so scared. But they, it ended up being, like a ruse. Like basically they set Logan Brown's character and the original girl, they set it up to where it appeared that, they were going to, it appears that, she was mad at her and she was going to, help them, do something to her. But in all actuality, what they did was they drugged the other two men involved with the rape, the main man, and they drugged the fucking bitch that was helping them. Her name was like Paloma or something. So they drugged everybody, and they basically just killed them because they realized, like it's so. And then so after so you got to remember, after she's playing the cello, she messes up and she thinks that they're going to rape the little girl, but really they're going to have sex with her. So then they tie her up and everything. And then, but Logan Brown's character, she's like, oh, I want to be first, and it looked like she was going to rape her with her messed up hand, which was kind of weird. And I was like, oh, this is going to be uncomfortable. Like this, she was going to rape it with her hand, with her fucked up hand. It's like she had a nub, because remember, she chopped off her hand. So she just had a nub, but like she was going to rape her. And then, you see the two guys just fall, and you're like, oh, shit. So they poison them, and then she unties her. I mean, they start kissing and everything, and you're like, and then they show you the flashback of when she went to her house, and you thought she killed her. She actually beat her up, and then they were talking, and she was like, I should kill you, but you were right. You were right. So, basically the original girl who was their original celloist, she had to do something really extreme, which was to give her hallucinating drugs, have her chop off her hand, and it had to been something that serious just for her to see, that once she's no use, that Anton, the music school, they're not gonna want anything to do with her, minus the fact that they raped her multiple times and everything, because she's no use, they don't need you anymore. And that was the girl's main point. So the whole time you like, damn, that bitch is crazy. But then you like, had she not did what she did, that girl would have still been stuck under their wing. They would still, they would still be, trying to get more girls to come into the school, to basically just rape them, So, that was interesting. So then they get to then they stab the girl that was helping her in the back. They stabbed that bitch. They just like, forget her. And then the guy, they drugged him, and then they go through this big fight, the two girls, they're trying to kill him. And then it comes to the end, and you find out they chopped his hands, his arms, they chopped everything off. He just sitting there like this, like he's basically, everything is a nub. He got nub hands, nub feet, like they cut all his shit off. And then you see them, they both only got one arm, and it ends with them just playing the cello. Like, when I tell y'all that was a really good movie, of course I'm sorry for all the spoilers, but that's kind of what my movie reviews are about. But that was a really, really good movie. It's called The Perfection. It's on Netflix, and I really, really want y'all to watch it. I hope my explanation and my review was good, or, it was good enough for you to go on and watch it. But trust me, it's a lot of twists and turns. Like, watching a movie you would never have expected. Well, I gave it away, but you would never have expected such twists and turns. And it was actually a phenomenal movie. It had some phenomenal performances. Like, I give, the girl from Get Out, give her a nod for her performance. Logan Brown did a great job. The guy who played Anton did a great job. Like, those were some very convincing performances. So definitely go ahead and check the movie out on Netflix. It's called The Perfection.